Hey everybody, welcome to The Commit. Today I'm joined by B from Developer Bootcamp, and we're going to talk about something that I feel like no one ever really talks about. How do you leave your job? Maybe you've got a new offer or you're thinking about taking a new job. So B, what's the first thing that you should do when you're thinking about leaving your job?
I would say the first thing is around giving ample notice. And I think the industry standard has been around 2 weeks, but I think I'm gonna say 2 weeks is not enough. It depends on where you're at in your career, right? If you're an entry-level person, perhaps that 2 weeks is appropriate, but I think the higher you up in your career, you may wanna think about giving more time, because at the end of the day, that company does have to replace you, right? And you wanna be respectful of that process as well.
Kind of leading into like how you give notice. It's not like you're just leaving a letter on the desk, right? It's not like in the movies. I mean, it's a conversation that you need to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an in-person conversation that you need to have, similar to like the one-on-one structures hopefully you're having in your workspace. You want to have that one-on-one conversation with your supervisor and let them know, like, hey, this offer came on the table and I'm going for it. I want to talk about, the process moving forward in terms of my resignation and what do I need to know beyond, verbalizing this with you right now.
Cool. All right, so let's say you've given notice. How do you sort of approach the next step, which I imagine is sort of like wrapping up your work?
Yes, wrapping up the work. And again, this is a conversation that you have with your supervisor. When I was leaving my position, I was very intentional about wanting to set up the person coming behind me up for success. And I think that's super important because you don't want to burn any bridges.
The exit interview.
Yes.
What is an exit interview?
An exit interview, I think, it serves multiple purposes. I think it's an opportunity for you to get and give feedback, right? And so in a very respectful way, right? I think it's a contained space to be able to strategically share some of the things that perhaps you think the company can benefit from. I also think it's an opportunity for you to get some feedback leaving the company so that it can serve you well in your next role. So I think it serves multiple purposes, but I think it's at the end of the day, thinking about feedback. You're giving feedback, receiving feedback, but also being able to close that chapter in a good way.
So with exit interviews, who initiates that?
So I do think it depends on the culture of the company. In my experience, my previous experience, I initiated it. I asked for it. And because it wasn't going to happen, but I wanted to show that I was still, invested and committed to our relationship. Having those feelings, honoring those feelings, but also just being very strategic about reframing what you're feeling in the moment when you're talking to your colleagues and focusing on the opportunity, right? And that for me is leaving the job without burning any bridges. And also, if folks are engaging in those kind of conversations where they're bad-mouthing the company or other people and things like that, offer solutions rather than, contributing to it. And I think, again, that for me is leaving the company in a good place.
Right. I mean, and you kind of just don't want to like check out and be like, all right, well, I'm out of here in 2 weeks, guys, later.
Too, right. Making sure that you're committing to the work that you said that you're going to do, not half-assing things, because I think that is a poor representation on you at the end of the day. And so showing up 100%. Like if you have 2 weeks left, you're going to show up 100% all those 2 weeks.
Anything else that you can do to sort of, really like, what's the classiest thing you can do in those last 2 weeks?
I think the classiest thing you could do is, for me at least, if there are particular folks in the company that really supported you in your process or your journey there, write them a personal note and thank them for their, whatever they've done for you. And I think, it affirms them. It also, affirms who you are as a person and your values. But again, going back to not burning bridges, you may or may not need that person later on, right? And so, maintaining those relationships. So write a personal note to the people that you care about. And I'm not saying you have to like butter up your supervisor. If you're a supervisor and you didn't click, that's okay. But maybe it's a peer that you coded with that you really love, you appreciated them for their mentorship. Write them a letter or email them. Do something just to show and affirm that you appreciate them.
All right, well, thanks so much, B, for telling us about how to leave your job. Hopefully you guys won't have to do it for a little while, but if you do, you got a little more advice now.